Hey guys, now in this video, let's connect to Azure Storage Blob from our C# code. So that means we will try to get the list of blobs in a container, or we will try to delete a blob in a container from our C# code. So guys, of course, we can upload a blob from our C# code as well, but for that we need to write UI code. So as of now, we will keep it simple, but we will upload blob from our C# code in our upcoming videos. Okay. And again guys, to connect to our Azure storage account from our C# code, first we will need connection string for that storage account, right? Now from that connection string, we will create something called Blob service client. So in simple words, this class, that is Blob service client, it gives an access to this entire storage account. Then using this Blob service client class, we can create something called Blob container client. And again, as you can guess, now this is specific to a container within this Azure storage account. Now using Blob container client, we can create Blob client. And again, as you can guess, now it will represent a specific blob in that container. So again, using this Blob client, we can find the content type of blob, the name of blob, etc. Okay. Now guys, we are in Visual Studio and this is our web API project, that is Azure Storage Service Demo. And first of all, if you see, under app settings, we added the connection string for our Azure storage account, right? Then in this program.cs file, we configured this class, that is Blob service client, and to this we provided the connection string for our Azure storage account. And now guys, we are in this container demo controller. So first of all, observe this, that is we injected this Blob service client using constructor injection. So and then using this Blob service client, we can work with containers in that storage account. So I guess that was quite simple and we already covered it in our last video. And now let's work with Blob. So I will add a new controller. So controllers, right click, add, MVC controller empty, I'll say add, Blob demo controller, I'll say add. And guys, we don't need this index method, so let's delete it. And first thing, of course, we need to inject this Blob service client, right? So again, I will say private read only Blob service client underscore Blob service client. And now we want to inject it using constructor injection. So here I will right click, I will say quick actions, generate constructor, and let's say okay. Now first let's add a API or a method which will return all the blobs within a container, right? So, and let's say that API is this one, that is blob/get blobs. Now guys, let's go to the Azure portal and let's see if we have any such container. So now guys, we are in Azure and this is our storage account and we are inside this my container, and in this my container we have two blobs, that is car1.jpg and car2.jpg. and now let's try to retrieve the list of blobs from this my container. So here I will say where container is equal to my container. Now first we will need to fetch Blob container client. So I will say where Blob container client is equal to underscore Blob service client dot get Blob container client, and to this let's pass this container value. And now let's retrieve the blob list. So I'll say where blob list is equal to, I'll say Blob container client dot get blobs. But guys, this will return us the list of blobs, but we want to find the list of names of the blobs, right? So I will say where blob name list is equal to, I'll say blob list dot select x x goes to x dot name dot to list, and now let's simply return this blobs name list. And now before we run our project, let's add a debugger on line number 22, and here I will say run. And guys, you can see our API is running and our debugger has been hit. So yes, and here I will say go next. So it seems our code is working, and let's see what we have got in this blob name list. So yes, we can see 2 records, and yes, we can see car1.jpg and car2.jpg, and I will say continue. Okay, great. And now let's try to delete one of the blob. And now guys, in the interest of the time, I will pause this video and I will write that code to delete a blob. So again guys, that is simple and straightforward code. So guys, I have added the code to delete the blob, and again if you see, this is simple straightforward code. So first we again created this blob container client. Now using blob container client, we created blob client, and we created blob client for this image, that is car2.jpg, and then we are simply saying blob client.delete if exist, and then finally we are simply retrieving the list of the blobs. Okay, so again I will run this project. So again guys, if you see, we are trying to delete this blob and our debugger has been hit. So I will say next, next and next. So it seems our code is working, and here I will say continue. And see, now we got only one image, that is car1.jpg, right? And let's actually cross check it portal. See, now we can see 2 images, and now I will say refresh, and yes, now car2 image has been deleted. So that's it guys. Thanks for listening.